Good morning, or afternoon actually. Yee. Hey, good afternoon. Welcome to Hangout Cafe. Welcome, welcome. Hello, Yamo, I can see you. Hello, Theresa, Caroline, Jane, to me, Marilyn. Hello, everyone. Hey, nice to see you. Timmy dear, welcome. Hi, Idara. Oh, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Thank you. Oh, this afternoon, actually. I keep saying morning. Afternoon. Hey, TJ. No, that's David. I think that's David. Hello. Full of special. Oh, you made it. Welcome. Ifeko, welcome. Alvina, Ayo, Shade, Liz, welcome. Waiting for Foluso to join us. Good afternoon. Welcome. I hope you've got your tea, your coffee, your drinks, your sandwiches. Hello, Dele. Foluso, okay. Welcome. I'm going to ask you, send me a request, Foluso. Yay. Well, that's fine. Yay. Can you guys hear me? I hope you can all hear me. We're waiting for Felicia to join. Hey,
Hi,
how are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. Let me place this a bit. Yeah.
I need to put my earphones on.
Okay. Right. Okay. Can you guys hear us? Can you hear us? Is it clear? You can. That's fine. Thank you very much. Loud and clear. Thank you, Feko. So we've got my call for the show here today. Hey, oh.
Oh my.
Oh, wow. So welcome, ladies, and maybe some gentlemen are here too. Welcome. Oh, Felicia's got her mug. What have you got written on your mug?
Addicted to Jesus and caffeine.
Oh, that's nice. Okay, I'm not sure, but yes, addicted to Jesus. Yes. Well, I've got the same one. Well, actually, not the same one. It's got because manners matter.
Oh yes, of course.
Got
And
it.
they do matter. Have you guys gotten the book? Even more importantly, it's on Amazon. Because manners matter. Very important book.
Someone said we both look lovely. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, so virtual hugs. Felicia, I'm hugging you. Can we hug each
I'm
other?
giving you.
Can you feel that?
I can feel it, and you know, I really cannot wait until when we can actually have real hugs again.
I know, yeah.
This virtual life, there's a limit, you know.
Miss hugs, you mix. Oh. But anyway, let's get on.
It's all good.
So, ladies and gentlemen, or folks, today we're talking about make that move. And you know, Felicia was telling you that everyone I sent it to said to me that it reminded them of
Welcome
that.
To the PL4525 Bluetooth speaker.
Ignore that.
Bluetooth
Okay.
mode.
Are we about to dance? Are we about to have music to dance? Hey, I can't wait.
Because everyone said it reminded them of this song.
Hey, this is my jam.
Woo! Everybody needs somebody to love.
Need somebody to love. Make that move right now, baby. Hey, I can't sing, sir. Let me stop before somebody throws shade at me.
Felicia, the music has stopped. She's still
Oh,
dancing.
sorry. I usually have music playing inside of my head. So even when there's no music, I'm still dancing. That's just how God made me. It's very okay. Dancing when there's no music.
I love that. She's still moving. Yeah.
Somebody said that she has never heard this song before.
Oh, really?
That means that, no, she must have been born maybe like in the late 90s or in the 2000s.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So on over, is it over 30? Yeah. Anyone over 30?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think
Your
so.
moves are great.
Thank you. I actually really don't know how to dance, but on this cropped Instagram live, I know how to dance because it's not showing my whole body.
One more time because some people have just joined us, so they will know. So today's
Okay.
topic is make that move, and everyone said it reminds them of this. Right now, baby. So natural to give in to feelings deep inside where love is due. And I knew something was missing because I feel brand new. And motivation's in my heart whenever I'm with you. So there whenever you do.
Hey.
Make it well, move right now, baby. Okay, now stop.
Oh my. Abby, are you dancing? Abby is saying that the energy here is infectious. I hope that you are dancing
I hope so too.
in your house. Yeah.
Bringing back memories. Yes, yes.
Yes, old school memories.
Yay.
And when we could go to parties and dance.
Yes, soon.
Now we're dancing in our houses. It is well.
soon. We'll be able to dance at parties, but I don't think it'll be the same for a long time. But anyway,
I don't think so. But it'll be fine.
It'll be fine. So we're making that move today. Foluso, make that move. What does that say to you? What in your present? What's going on with you? Making that move. What does that statement say?
So making that move. So if we're going to talk about my present, I guess like my personal present situation, for me, making that move is really about tuning myself into the same frequency as God. You and I had a conversation yesterday where I was, telling you about a whole bunch of things that are going on with me. And I think the most important thing about making the move, whatever the move is to be on the same frequency with God because he's the one that created us. And so sometimes I think a lot of us feel like we are unable to move, but it's really because of many different things that I'm sure that we'll get into over the course of the conversation. But I think a big part of it is that we are tuned to the frequency of the world and we're not tuned to the frequency of God, right? So what is the world saying that you should do? What is everybody in your community doing? What is everybody that is your age doing? What is everybody that's in your industry doing? As opposed to you really tuning into what God is saying you as a person should do. And I think now, during this COVID pandemic especially, it's such a confusing time for businesses, for individuals, for organizations. And we're all trying to figure out what other people are doing so that we can, kind of align ourselves with the success of other people. But, I just keep getting this feeling that most of us need to understand that. So the framework of success in the world, or what the success is being recorded right now, might not necessarily be for us. So we might even be in the same industry, but God is giving you specific things to make that move. Yeah. And instead of you making that move on God's frequency, you're making that move on either world frequency or your personal frequency, or what appears to be right? So let me give you a quick example. I've got a friend who God asked her to resign from her job. Right. And my friend is like, God, during COVID, I don't understand, and she's having such a hard time because she's like, God, how can I resign during COVID? And we're having a discussion the other day and we're like, listen, babe, Partial obedience is equal to what? Disobedience. There's no such thing as partial obedience. You either make that move or you don't. Like, so you have to pick a side. And then, you know, we think about, you know, even the biblical stories that we adore and we all love. Oh, Esther was the queen. Oh, you know, King David. Oh, Daniel. All these people that we all, you know, love to love. But when you read their stories, you see that these are people that made that move. Nobody was just sitting there in disobedience and, you know, purpose or, you know, their calling or whatever came to them. You know what I mean? It was through making a move that they were able to get there. So for me, personally, in this season, making a move for me is, Foluso, tune yourself to God's frequency and nothing else. I love what somebody just wrote here. Your own personal blueprint downloaded from heaven. Exactly. Downloaded from the throne room. And you know, so that's what it is for me. Is literally all about, Foluso, do not get caught up in what CNN and all the news channels are saying. Don't get caught up in all those random WhatsApp chats that have been causing a lot of anxiety for a lot of people. Focus on God's frequency and make the move for you according to his frequency.
Fantastic. Now, before I ask Foluso the next question, if you've got any questions, please go into the question box and send any questions that you may have for Foluso. But Foluso, right, how did you get to that place? Because we know that it's not easy to tune off, you know, tune off from the world and everything else that's going on. How did you get to that place?
Gosh, I love that question so much, because I got to that place because I got to a place in my life where I realized that, okay, let me tell the story this way. So about maybe like eight years ago or thereabouts, so on paper, I had everything going for me, you know, I had a job, a good, like it was paying well enough. I was married. I had my first daughter already. According to paper, you know, African woman, you are doing well, you know, because you know that there's this template of what doing well is. And then I started feeling empty. It was weird. Like the emptiness was from the depth of my soul. Like I could not explain it. I couldn't theorize it. You know, I couldn't read a textbook and, you know, it would tell me this is what's wrong with you. I was literally feeling super empty. And then I started going around in circles. You know, I started doing all these weird things where I got into a place where I felt like, oh, you know, everybody else has their life on point except for me. My sister is, you know, she's a doctor. My cousin just got her MBA. You know, everybody seems to have a clear-cut something going on except for me. Because, you know, I was already working. I already had my master's. But in my head, inside of this head, I felt like what I was doing was not good enough. Oh, I'm in IT. What does that even mean? You know, it was almost like my profession wasn't enough. But you know what I was doing?
What?
I was linking my purpose and my career together. So in my head then, 8 years ago or so, your career is your purpose.
Okay.
Because, you know, if you like think about how a lot of us were brought up, you know, when you, I mean, obviously as you grow, you are going from stage to stage and school to school. So you go from nursery school to primary school to secondary school, you know, so there's always something. So I feel like when you reach a certain stage in your life, if you are not grounded in God and understand that your purpose and your calling is way beyond your marital status, it's way beyond your profession, your job, it's way beyond your social status, your friends, whatever, you know, if you don't have that, then you will feel lost. Anyway, so I had that whole period of feeling really lost. And that was really just God, you know, like nudging me. I think just knocking on me like, hello, 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 wake up. Because at that point in time, I was not working within my gifts, my talents, and my strengths. You know, I wasn't doing those things. Hi, Lair. He's come with his eyes. You know, I wasn't doing those things, and it was God nudging me, but I didn't realize it then. It took me a while, you know. So over maybe like the course of like 2 years, a lot of self-discovery, a lot. I spent so much time, energy, and money just trying to find myself, and not just in a theoretical way, but even in a real way. Like, okay, who am I? What are those special gifts and talents that God created Foluso to have? So not anybody else, me. So society says this is what you should be, but if you don't want to be that, that's fine. Because, you know, there's so much societal pressure. And even if you think that you're not being affected by it, a lot of times we are, you know. So what is the measure of success, you know? Anyway, so I had this whole discovery. I mean, I did all kinds of gift, strengths, talent tests. I used to harass everybody, including my poor husband here. What do you think I'm good at? What are my gifts? You know, which is not necessarily a bad thing, because I do believe that God put those things in us for us to also explore, discover ourselves while we're on earth. But what that did for me was that it made me realize the totality of who God created me to be was outside of my profession and outside of so many other things.
Okay.
And then I listened to a sermon at church once where our pastor spoke about being a kingdom addict, and he focused on, seek ye first the kingdom of God and all other things will be added unto you. And that day was like the biggest epiphany of my life. It was like, duh, this is the problem. You're not seeking the kingdom of God first and letting things be added to you. You're seeking things and you're doing God's kingdom, on Sundays. Like, hello, God, how are you on Sunday? And then, maybe every random midweek service. Exactly, And so for me, that epiphany came from realizing that every one of us has been created for good works. I mean, and there's a whole scripture thing that, I'll share later about that, but just realizing that your purpose, your calling is not about what you think it is or society. So this whole thing about being on God's frequency is just like everything. So yeah, that's what led me to where I am today. It was a journey.
Okay. So what are some of the things that prevent us from switching to God's frequency? Some of the practical things you can share that maybe you've been through or other people that you know.
So there are many things.
Yeah.
So many things. I think the biggest thing is our mindset. So depending on your circumstances growing up, and what you were surrounded by. So I was fortunate enough to have grown up with, a father who was just like, I don't understand. Why can't you do something? There's nothing that you can't do. You can do everything, Yeah. So I never had that limiting mindset of I can't do things, My mindset issues came from different things. So I think the first thing is the mindset. If you grow up in an environment where it was always negative, they were always telling you what you can't do, especially teachers, teachers, parents, constantly focusing on your weaknesses.
Yeah.
Because I've also realized that a lot of us have been socialized and conditioned to focus on our weaknesses and not our strengths.
Yep.
And what that has done is that we spend our whole entire lives trying to be better at our weaknesses as opposed to working on our strengths. So for me, the first thing, honestly, is this whole mindset thing and just understanding that you are not necessarily what you were called as a child. Because even adults, I mean, like I've seen people like, 50, 40 who still remember what their primary two teacher did to them and those awful words that were said to them and how those things have affected their journey all along the line. So the first thing for me is the mindset. Second thing, obviously, is listen, guys, we live in such an amazing time where we have all the resources. I mean, Mrs. A, not to shade you or anything, but in your time, you didn't have all these resources that we do. You guys have to go to the library. You have to be walking on the road. All these things. But like for us that, grew up in the digital age, everything is freely available. The internet has so many resources. There's so many things, even with books now. I mean, imagine how instead of just physical books now, we have ebooks. So for me, our learning curve needs to be faster or better than our parents and those before us because we have those opportunities. So you need to surround yourself with the right people and with the right information. And this one is something I'm so passionate about because I'm so tired of people telling me, oh, I was scrolling through my Instagram page and I saw this thing I didn't like and I didn't unfollow the person. I'm like, why? Are you a tree? You can't move. I don't understand. If you're following people on Instagram, there's only trees that cannot move now. They can't move. They chop them and they're gone. You can move. So why don't you follow resources and people that add value to you? Like, I can't understand following people that make you feel bad. In fact, somebody once said it to me that, she follows some people and that when she looks at their posts, that it makes her feel somehow. I said, so why are you following them?
Why are you following? Yeah.
Why you follow? Please unfollow them, So definitely, the second thing for me is definitely what you surround yourself with. Make sure you're surrounding yourself with valuable, good information. The third thing for me, I think, is definitely this place of whether it's coaching or mentorship or accountability, where you have people in your life who are, and I love how our lovely mommy Abby, the vicar, the last time said dream enablers, dream pushers. You need those people, whether it's in form of a mentor, a best friend, a coach, I don't care what it is, but you need those people because those people are the ones that will put fire under your bum. Like when you're being slow and you're not doing, like they put fire, they're like, move, And so, I think for me, those are the three things for now that I can think about.
It's interesting because I think yesterday when we had a conversation, we're talking about labels that may have been put on us. It's time to remove those labels. Labels.
Remove them.
It could be you're not good enough. No one has ever done this in our family. So who do you think you are? that it can
Oh,
time to strip off those labels. And again,
strip them off.
what Felicia said, find people who your dream enhancers, like Abs the Vicar said the other day. There are people who would just come and encourage you, your cheerleaders.
Yeah.
You know, you need those people around you. Okay, so Felicia, you talked about the fire under your ball.
Move it.
Yes, we talked about how you use personality profiling to get to where you, to help you discover what you're supposed to be.
Yeah, it was part of my Okay, so I'll tell you why I like those personality diagnostic tests, or strengths and gifts tests. Yeah. Because I find that sometimes we are uncomfortable with who we are, right? So it's little things which kind of comes from what you're saying about the labels. Like when you were young, maybe you like to talk. You talk too much. You talk too much. Why are you always talking?
Yeah.
Or you like to be alone. Why are you alone now? Why are you alone now? What's wrong with you? Or you like to read. You're always reading. What's wrong with you? Or you like to, whatever it is that you like to do, they made you feel bad about it.
Yeah.
And it's been from a young age. So you find that the things that people really love to do naturally as how God made them, a lot of us are actually uncomfortable and we don't like it. We're like, I don't want to be that talkative. Mm-hmm. So God, I don't want to be talkative. Meanwhile, God might have even called you to be a communicator.
Yeah.
Right? You like to be alone because you like to think. You're one of those strategic deep thinkers. What's wrong with you? You're always alone. Why are you always by yourself? Why don't you like talking? So you then don't want to be that anymore. So the natural things that God has put inside of a lot of us, we don't like them. And we want to be somebody else. So the reason I like those tests is because when you do them and you read the report, you're like, is it jazz? How, how is it possible that this is normal? There are people like me in the world. So it's actually okay that I like to be alone. It doesn't mean that I'm bad. It just means that, there's strength in that. So for me, it's those strengths from who God made us to be, not who your parents want to force you to be, or your spouse or whatever, who you really are meant to be. And so I did the 16 personalities test. It's free online. Somebody's going to post the link because I asked her to please post it when I'm saying them so that people can take them. And then I also did just that regular temperament one, the one that Tim LaHaye's book is written about, why you act the way you do. The one that talks about whether you're sanguine, melancholic, choleric, or phlegmatic. And the reason I love them, and even reading the book, Why You Act the Way You Do, liberated me, is because you literally see that even the things that you don't like about yourself, they are normal. It's all there, it will tell you, this is how you are in work. Sorry, at work. This is how you are in social places. So like, if you're like me and you like to talk, it will tell you when you enter a room, you're not intimidated by the number of people in the room. However, you have to be careful that if you went there for a reason, you achieve your purpose, because you'll be so busy gisting that you forget the reason why you went there. So it tells you the positive and the not so positive about you as a person. So you start feeling like, oh my God, it's not bad. I just need to master myself. So it then gets you to that next level of self-awareness and self-mastery where you're like, okay, so this is who I am. It's not bad. God made me this way, but I have to be able to master my not so positive. So I'm not saying that you should focus on your weaknesses and be praying and fasting every day that your weaknesses become strengths. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that those strengths that you have, you need to continue to strengthen them. And then your weaknesses as well will then become something that you're able to work on. So for me, I have a tribe of people around me that are excellent at my weaknesses. I don't even deceive myself anymore. Like, for instance, like my husband can throw shade at me and I'll be like, Abio, you're right. That's how I am. Because my husband is really, like, he's really clean. Like my husband can spot a dot on the window. I won't see that. And then he'll be like, see the dot on the window. I'm like, thank God for you that you saw the dot on the window, because me, as I'm like this, I didn't, so I don't feel bad about what I'm not. That's why we are called to community as well, and called to have people around us, because that community helps to strengthen the areas that you're not so good at, because none of us is the Holy Spirit and none of us is Jesus. Yeah. The people that are perfect, they are in heaven, and they're the ones that are ruling over us, So we are not called to be perfect. We're not called to be perfect.
No one is perfect. Please,
Nobody.
whoever you asked to repost that link, someone said repost. Okay, she's done it again.
I think she's done it. Yeah. Thanks, Timoni. Thanks for posting it. Thanks, guys, for posting. So yeah.
So one or two questions, Felicia. The first one: how do you help people who self-destruct, no matter how you cheer them up? They find something negative to cling to.
Oh my God, I love this question. Oh my God, this question is like from heaven. Thank you so much for asking that question.
Yes.
So I have a friend. I like telling stories, guys. Sorry. So I have a friend. My friend is the top critic of life and destiny. She's the one that when everybody else is positive, she will always find the negative.
Okay.
I used to be a bit uncomfortable with my friend because I was like, oh, I don't understand what's wrong with you, because I am the queen of positivity. I mean, if you know me, you know that I will find positive in the worst of situations, right? And that's just how I am, you know, it's just a gift, it's free.
Yeah.
And so the difference between me and my friend is distinct when we're talking about certain things, because she will always see the negative. So like this COVID, oh my God. She's the one that will come and be like, the government, just destroy the whole nation now. People are on the road already. We're all going to get COVID. You know, like she's really dramatic like that. But then guess what?
What?
The other day I spoke to her and we had such an amazing conversation, because what it is that the fact that she can see negative and critique is actually a strength. Because guess what? When she was an investment banker, it was excellent. She was killing the deals because she would always spot rubbish.
Yeah.
When she's doing her events, because now she does events, she's the one that has flawless events because she can spot rubbish. You know, she can spot the things that will destroy the event.
Okay.
So I said to her on the phone, I said, do you know what the issue here is? The issue here is not that it's bad that you can critique or that you see negative. The issue here is that you then start to use that negative and self-destruct because you then apply it to yourself. So even when she's doing really well, she's the one that'll be like, my life is over. My life is finished. My life sucks. You know? And then we had this conversation where we were able to understand that, okay, you need to know where to draw the line between this, your strength, becoming a weakness. So, you know, our strengths can also be weaknesses, right? In the sense that if you don't master it, it can also destroy you. Absolutely. Do you understand? Absolutely. So she now has to be able to demarcate between when she's paying attention to detail on things that have to do with work and things that are good and her personal self. So this, my friend, has no belly and keeps saying that her belly is big. So she sent us a picture and we're like, Mrs. A, I know why you're laughing, and I'm never going to throw shade at you for why you're laughing, but my heart knows why you're laughing, but I won't tell everybody why you're laughing. You know, and she sent us her picture and I said to her, I said, this is your tummy. If I had this tummy, the world would be in trouble. And she's like, you know, for her, she really thinks that she has a big tummy. So we're trying to explain to her that, listen, you are using this strength of yours, but you're not using it internally for yourself and it's becoming negative. So you have to know the triggers, right? We all have triggers. What is the trigger in your head that suddenly this strength starts to almost make you self-destruct? So for the person that asked the question, I think that if you really love your friend and you care, this is only if you really care, because if you don't care, then you're not going to do it. But if you really care, think about your friend and think about the positive of that thing that she does. Yeah. She's not critiquing because she's a bad person. There's a strength in it, and she just needs to be able to use that strength positively as opposed to using that strength in a negative way.
I hope that makes sense. I hope so too.
Yeah.
So if you care about your friend, just speak to her and help her to start to use the weakness in a positive way.
Yeah. Or the strength in a positive way.
In a positive way. Okay. So the second question, it says, it seems you just switched suddenly from tech to talking about your faith. What brought about that?
That's such a funny question. Sorry. I was too busy laughing. I didn't even hear the full question. I'm sorry.
It seems you just switched suddenly from tech to talking about your faith. What brought about this?
Okay, so if you have followed me on social media, I think for maybe, I'm not even sure when I really started posting on Instagram. Whatever. Anyway, when I actually started posting on, or rather when my Instagram page went public, when it stopped being private, I've always spoken about my faith. So anybody that knows me knows that for me, the foundation of everything is my faith, right? So how I was speaking earlier about, you know, the foundation being seeking first the kingdom of God and everything else being added onto you. So technology is my profession, you know, I love my profession, it's what I do. My faith is who I am, right? So I talk about everything. If you pay attention to my page, you'll probably see that I talk about a whole bunch of different things that I'm quite passionate about, and I'm passionate about many, many things. What it is, though, is I think because I just released my book, I've spent a lot of time, obviously, you know, like doing Insta lives that are focused on my book, which then I think is what's making it seem like, oh, all you're doing is your faith. But you know what? I'm just doing me, just using all the gifts and talents that God gave me as He asked me to. So yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Sorry to interrupt. Someone just said, "Oh, I don't know you." I just assumed
I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry too, because Felicia was on. For those who are joining us for the first time, she was on about 2 weeks ago, and I introduced, and I just assumed that everybody knew.
That's
Felicia.
true. Yeah.
Please introduce yourself. Tell them a little.
Okay. Okay. All right. So my name is Foluso Gbadamosi. I work for an oil and gas services company. I'm director in charge of business processes and technology. So that's my profession. I love technology. I studied it in school. I love it, love it, love it. Outside of that, I do multiple things. So I call myself an octopus. I have many hands. Yeah, it's one of my gifts, you know. So I'm a mommy, I'm a wife. Everything I'm passionate about, I found expression for. So I'm passionate about women and leadership. So I'm on the executive council of Women in Management, Business and Public Service. That's WIMBIZ. Love the work there because that's all we do is, you know, just focus on women and leadership. I also have an NGO that I co-founded about 6 years ago now because I'm also passionate about, you know, social advocacy and being the change we want to see. So helping those around us. So what we do at Serving with Love Foundation is we help, you know, the poor families around us. And we also have tech programs for children that are in, you know, poor environments and do not have access to technology. So we have a whole tech program that we run for them. What else do I do? I also speak, so I'm often invited to speak at different events, you know, on different things. So technology, purpose, leadership, and all that. I am extremely passionate. Let me tell you, all what I've said there, the summary of it all is, first of all, I'm passionate about doing exactly what God created me to do. And I think even more importantly for me is I want people to be the best version of themselves. So I had a slight discomfort, not slight, I have a lot of discomfort when I see people just not being who God created them to be. So people trying to be like other people. So copying and pasting, you know. So when I see all the, God forgive me, sorry if you're here and you're one of those people, everybody in Lagos with the same skin color, the same hair, the same bum bum, it really bothers me. Because I'm like, why? Like, why are you a clone? So you understand, you know. So yeah, I'm really passionate about, you know, about us just focusing on our strengths and developing them and being the best version of who God created us to be.
And Foluso is the CEO, Chief Encouragement Officer.
Yes, I am.
If you've got Foluso on your side, wow, she's just going to keep encouraging you and encouraging you.
Yes, yes. Sorry, I forgot. Somebody just said it here. I mentor. Yes, I'm so sorry. That's Thank you, Duyom. I mentor as well. Yes. It's one of the things I do. Yes.
So, Foluso, talk about pivoting because it's something that you've been posting a lot about on your page, and explain what it is for those of us that may not know. What is this thing? Or I've been seeing a lot of pivot. What exactly is this thing? So
you know what is funny? You've actually pivoted. Do you know why? Because you're running this Hangout cafe. That is pivoting. It's pivoting, you know. So guys, what is pivoting? Pivoting is essentially whatever it is that you do, right? So, you know, like you, I mean, you know, you would have programs in church, you would have gatherings with people. Now you're doing it online. It's essentially finding a way to continue doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
But in these COVIDian times that have come to, you know, try to mess us all up, finding a way around that, right? So different examples, a lot of restaurants that did not deliver food before are now doing delivery services. A lot of designers and dressmakers are now making PPE. So that's the protection gear that you know, people are wearing. And also making the face masks. The other day I saw that Eco Hotel is now doing laundry delivery services because obviously they have all their laundry equipment and they don't have any customers right there. So they're doing that. So you know, essentially, it's you finding different ways of expressions for your business to suit the needs of your clients and your customers. So it's all about your clients and your customers. So let me give you an example. So Instagram actually started as a photo sharing app or something crazy like that. But what they discovered was that people would always put in their location.
Yeah.
And, you know, they were doing some other things. So they followed the trend of what their customers were doing and created it into this. It was actually called Bourbon, B-U-R-B-N. And then they then evolved into this Instagram that we're all looking at today. Amazon, if most of us know, started as an online bookstore. All they were selling were books. And then they realized that their customers wanted more. You know, they wanted to be able to shop for multiple things online. So they pivoted into that. You know, so really it's you paying attention to what your clients and your customers want, and you know, opening up that arm of your business. And what a lot of people have actually found is that when they pivot, they probably just end up staying there forever. Because when you pivot, you're paying attention to what your customers really want, which is really super duper important. If we, you know, I mean, really, if your customers don't want it, then why are you doing it? You know? So yeah, that's what it's all about.
Okay, I think we've got some questions. Let me see. Come on now. What's this thing? Right. Yes, Felicia, you know, you said you're an octopus. Someone said, how do you find time or make time for all these things that you do? Okay, so finding time and making time, I think, is really all just a big factor of like structure. If you are a person who you love to do everything yourself and you want to do many things, it's going to be difficult. So I don't fool myself. There are many things that I'm not good at, you know. So I'm not one of those people that wants to be Superwoman, you know, or be like, I don't know, like I need a trophy in being like Superwoman.
No, not Superwoman. I am very honest with myself about the things that I'm not very, very good at. Okay. And so what I do is that I find support for those things. So let me give you another example. So with the book, you know, so I recently released a book called Dream on Dreamer. You've got to get Foluso yes, please get the book. It's on Amazon and Okada Books. Now, Dream on Dreamer. Now, Dream on Dreamer was inspired by the Holy Spirit last year. Now, if you know me well, you know that writing and all those kind of things are not really my forte. I mean, I can write little things on Instagram. I can write short articles. But a book, oh my goodness, it was very like, God, like, why are you doing this to me? But it's quite simple, you know. After many months of running away and trying to avoid writing the book and being a bit of a disobedient child, what I then did was I found somebody to help me, you know. So God actually led, like he made me remember that this person does this. Me and her spoke, we connected, and together we did the whole entire book. We banged it out. But if I did not have her support and the support of other people around me, so the dream pushers, the dream enablers, those that
Oh, it's frozen. Let's hope he comes back. Let me read. While we get her back on, what are some of the comments? Do you write programs or tech for autism children? Superwoman is exhausted. What kind of, okay, that's for Felicia. And someone said, my favorite song at the time was I'm Not a Superwoman. What's that? I'm not a superwoman. Felicia, okay, you're back. Yeah.
I am first. Sorry about that. Networks. So Superwoman means that you can do all things. Superwoman means essentially you're pretty much saying that you don't really need people. And listen, I'm the first person to tell you I need my nannies, I need everybody, I need my driver, I need my mother, I need my mother-in-law, I need this whole community and tribe of people to help make the days make sense, you know, even with having children, with being married. I mean, there's so many things. So for me, it's all about your own life, right? Yeah. You need to understand what your life entails and the things that you want to do and create the structures that would help you support the kind of life that you want to have. Okay. And sorry, let me just quickly add. Yes. Let me quickly just add this. This also means that you have to pay for stuff. So something else I've noticed is that a lot of us want help, but we don't want to pay. So my husband and I established long ago that we're going to pay our nannies very well, even if it meant that we would suffer in some area, because these are those that take care of our children. And it's very important that they are very comfortable. So you won't see me going around asking people, oh, how much do you pay your nanny? Why are you paying them that much? Listen, do whatever you need to do for your life. You know your life and you know what needs to be done. So you need to figure that out. Also, somebody once told me about how even when she couldn't afford to have a driver, she paid for a driver because she was living on the mainland. For those that live in Nigeria, living on the mainland and working on the island, that it would take her 3 hours driving every day to work. She said that was 3 hours that she was wasting, where she couldn't sleep, she couldn't read, she couldn't do anything. So she said, you know what, let me squeeze my money and pay for a driver so that as I'm being driven, I can read books, I can pray if I didn't pray that morning, I can sleep. You know, so she said that paying for that driver actually ended up helping her, even though she couldn't necessarily, you know, afford it. So really, I think it's all about you looking at your life and determining what's important to you. And, you know, don't compare yourself to people and think, oh, that my friend said that she pays 35K for a nanny. If you need to pay 80K, my friend, pay the 80K and move on. Do you understand? Like, don't like get into that whole thing of, oh, but how nanny is cheaper. Do you know what her nanny is offering? You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm all about being real, about support. Support is everything. Everything.
You know, this issue of comparing, I just don't know how we got ourselves into that space.
But you know, I think it's actually from when we were children. So you know, like a lot of us when we were younger in school, you did get compared to people. You know, you got compared to your classmates that were getting better grades. You got compared to your siblings. Yeah, you know, so it's something that just develops and has a life of its own as you get older. Yeah. And if you are not aware, you will even do it to your children. So we need to just stop it. Really. We just need to stop it.
Okay, another question said, how do you help a young lady who's struggling with her confidence?
Aww.
Yeah, how do you speak to a young lady struggling with her confidence? This affects her seriously.
Can that young lady please just DM me, please? Because that's long.
Okay. Can
she just send me a DM? I think that it would be easier for me and her to communicate that way, if she doesn't mind.
Okay.
I would be very, very happy to talk to her.
Would you say pivoting is the same as the agile way of working?
I don't think that it's the same. I think that it's different. I mean, I think that there are some similarities between pivoting and, you know, the agile way of working. But I do think that it's actually fundamentally different in the place that it comes from, right? So pivoting is really, the core of pivoting is focusing on the trends in your industry in that time. So this year, as an example, with the whole pandemic, all the trends are changing, right?
Yeah.
Let me give another example. So I saw that Primark, so all these years, Primark has never been online. And I've always judged them. I'm like, why is Primark not online? Like, what's their problem? You know? And they've lost so much money from not being online. Because now all the shops are closed. Yeah. So for instance, if Primark suddenly got online, you could consider that to be a pivot because it wasn't ever then, you know. So that's what pivoting is. It's really paying attention to your customers and your clients and, you know, going in that direction of what they need and want in that season.
Okay. And there was another question that said, what do you say to people who have refused to get on social media?
Sorry, I'm such a dramatic Yoruba woman sometimes. I cannot help myself.
Some people
I need to behave myself.
Evil. This social media thing.
All I'm going to say about that, if the person, so, you know, we're believers on here, I think largely.
Yeah.
Like my cousin keeps saying, if Jesus was around nowadays, Jesus would be on social media. He would be on all the platforms, winning souls for Jesus. So if you don't want to be on social media, I guess that's fine. But my question for you is, okay, what do you do? And then how do you reach the people that you need to reach? Simple. And if you can't reach them, then get with the program. Thank you. Right there. Get with the program.
Everything that's going on. How would you get the messages for those that were Christians that, you don't have a physical church to go to? You need social media. You need your Facebook.
It's entirely up to you. Yeah. You can decide that you want to be a dinosaur and live in the dark ages. We will, all of us will just move on and leave you alone. And we'll be like, peace out. See you on the other side. Sorry, I think that it's very, very important actually that we learn to pay attention to trends. Those that have been paying attention to trends have been on social media for years. Businesses, churches. Stephen Furtick said something that I loved. He said when they started church online, it was like, why? You know, even Chuck and Pierce said the same thing. Like when they wanted to study, even apparently some believers were like, oh, that's not okay, that's not normal. And guess what? Those that had started online are the ones that are now able to continue to preach their messages, give their messages. Even businesses, the businesses that have been online are the ones that are still transacting. So you have to be able to understand the times and seasons of the world. You know, when this whole thing started with social media and the internet and all that stuff, some people were like saying it's from the devil. Really? Like, guys, it's a tool, Jonathan. Like, it's an enabling tool, and every enabling tool can be used for good or bad. So you just have to decide, you know what, I'm going to use it for good and move on with your goodness. But the only people that are currently transacting and making money are those that either have been online for a while or those that got with the program in this time and got online.
Yeah. And
so you have to pay attention to that.
That's what you say. Any tool can be used for good or evil. That's the thing. And if you're following people who are not using social media for good, then like Foluso said earlier on, unfollow them. Unfollow them and say
bye.
And that's part of making the move. You know, you move away from all those things that are not going to edify you. Those things that
exactly.
Move
with the times and seasons. Move.
Yep, baby, just move. And you know, sometimes, Felicia, moving is just like taking baby steps.
Yeah.
You know, if you remember, for those who have children or you have nieces and nephews, you know, a baby will get up, trying to walk, wobble a bit, but fall down. But you know, interesting thing though is that most times the child will keep getting up,
and keep going.
But when we get older, we get stuck in that place. We don't want to move. We're just like, this is fine. But a baby, so where did things change from that childlike faith where I just want to move, I want to get things done, to when we're now older because of disappointments and all the things that have happened?
Yes.
You know, we need to go back to that childlike faith where Jesus said, you know, be like a child.
He said it, yeah.
Be like a child.
Yeah.
Move, just things and you know, in life, we're going to keep getting disappointed. Things are going to be thrown at us.
It's just life, yeah.
There's a quote that I love. It says, you're not responsible for your background and stuff that happened, but you're responsible for who you become.
That's right.
Time when we're going to stop saying, my parents did this, or that person did that, or this did that. Where you've got to take responsibility for your own actions. No more excuses. Move.
No more excuses. No more excuses. No more. Yeah.
No more. One of the things I was saying to Foluso yesterday was that the other thing in fact, maybe Foluso, you should deal with it, because one of the things we're going to talk about is making that move. What are the steps, the necessary steps we want to take away with us today? And one of the things I said to Foluso yesterday was about celebrating the wins. You know, where God has done things for you, but we tend to remember the negatives, how the ones that has not happened yet, instead of celebrating the little wins. And you know, those wins are things like whatever it is that has happened. Think of them like signposts, so that when the doubts come, you remember, look, God did this, God did that. Or journal, write down the little wins, those things that God has done, the things, all the beautiful, amazing things that He's done in your life. Let them be signposts to help you in moving. Take that risk. I mean, we talked, TJ talked about taking risk last Friday.
Last week, Saturday.
Saturday. You know, just move. Felicia, so yeah, go on, tell us. What are you going to say to them about moving forward? Don't be stuck in that place.
Yeah. So I do think, though, just kind of going back to strengths, I think that some people's natural disposition or the way that they were created makes it a bit harder for them to make the move, right? So if you look at the different personality types, there are some personality types that are just not as, they're not self-starters. Let me put it that way.
Okay.
Now, if you're not a self-starter, I'm certain that you probably have self-starter friends around you, or colleagues or something. I think we need to learn how to identify the relationships that God has put in our lives and categorize them and honor them as we require. If you know that you are not a self-starter and you have a self-starter friend, and you focus on the fact that your self-starter friend is annoying you, you won't see the value. Yeah, because you know, a lot of us, it's weird, like you were saying, why do we focus on the negative so much? Like, why do we not focus on the good things that have happened, but the negative? It's the same thing with our personalities. We focus on the negative. We have been wired in a weird way through socialization, most of us, to focus on the negative and to try, you know, like, instead of thinking about the 10 wonderful things that happened to you or the 10 things to be grateful for, you are focusing on that one thing, you know, that didn't happen. So anyway, my point is that you need to be able to identify those people in your life. You know, as you get older, you have to understand that God created all of us for a purpose, right? And for me, God is not shoddy. He doesn't do shoddy jobs. He does complete jobs. When He created you for that purpose, He knew, for instance, that 2020 there will be a pandemic and you will be here. He knew that. So the question is, how do you achieve your purpose in the midst of all that? And so who are the people surrounding you? He doesn't want you to also be Alpha and Omega. You can do all things. You are the Holy Spirit. You are super. No. You know, he needs us to learn the humility of developing relationships. Guys, even Jesus, when he was here, needed.
Yeah.
So who are you?
Yep.
Who are you to say that you don't need anybody? You are all by yourself.
Yep.
So please, hi, Mrs. B, exactly. So, you know, honor your relationships, support people, and guess what? It will always come back to you.
Yeah.
One thing I've learned is that some things that you pay forward, there's no way. It is a natural law of life. I don't care what religion, what background, what race you are.
Yeah.
What you give, you will get back. It might not come from the same people, but you'll get it back. So I think it's so important that if you are not a self-starter, that you find self-starters around you. Now, to the actual question. So I wrote down 4 things here because I thought that, you know, it would be good to kind of just hit us with direct points that I think will help whoever needs to make a move. So first of all, you've got to be very, very intentional, right? Surround yourself with the right people, which I just said, you know, so honor relationships, all that, dream enablers, dream pushers, you know, instead of focusing on all the things that you don't like about certain people, why don't you look for the gold in everybody? Everybody has gold. Everybody has gold.
Yes.
You know, look for the gold in them and, you know, honor that gold, and they will equally honor the gold in you instead of always focusing on, oh, this friend is so annoying. My mother is so annoying. You know, everybody has something positive. Second of all, be very intentional about discovering and developing your gifts and your strengths. We live, love, and lead best when we know the gifts and strengths that we have. So when you know who you are, when you are confident in who you are, when you're comfortable in who you are, when you know what, this is who I am, then everything for you is best. You parent better, you are a better wife or husband, you are a better colleague, you're a better leader, you're a better boss, you are a better many things because you know who you are. And so you're not trying to force yourself into being who you are not. And that way as well, it also helps you when you're, you know, creating and cultivating your relationships. Next thing, please, we're all adults here. I don't think there's anybody here under the age of 18. If you want to make a move and you have an idea of what that move is, can you please create an action plan? And when you create an action plan, please put a deadline, because an action plan without a deadline is a wish. I'm sure that we've all heard that saying before. It's just a wish. It's never going to happen. So, you know, create a plan, no matter how scanty you think it is. Create a plan and put dates to it. Like by so and so date, I want to do this. And then find yourself accountability partner. Whenever I'm looking for accountability partners, I never look for people that are like me. Never. Because you know, because if you are like me and you and I get like gisting, we'll just be going off tangents. You know, we'll not be gisting. I look for my friends that are very choleric, they are very serious, they are very like, they love schedules, timetables, you know, all that. Oh, hi there, Justin at 11. Hi there. Hi there. Please, you too can create an action plan. You are not too young. But anyway, you know, I find people that I know can make me do things. I don't find people that I'm so comfortable with. Oh my God, they just love everything I say. No, I find people that who will push me. I find them and I tell them, and guess what? It works like magic because they are naturally inclined to be like that. So they will push me until I get it done. So please create the action plan and get accountability partners. For the 11-year-old girl here, you can do that as well. Your accountability partner can be your mom, it can be your dad, it can be your siblings, it can be your friend even, you know, it can be something as little as you want to have better handwriting, you know, as a child, or you want to draw better, you know, just start developing that culture from now. And then, last but not the least, social media has created a lot of anxiety for people. I've noticed that people are having a lot of anxiety and panic attacks, you know, just, you know, from Instagram, from WhatsApp, they are, you know, seeing messages that, so for instance, people that have a very vivid imagination have had a hard time dealing with the news. Because when they turn on CNN, it's making them very anxious. I've had people who told me that when they watch the news, they literally start dreaming and seeing death. And they know that it's not normal. It's just because that's how they were wired. So if you are wired that way, and even just for all of us, I think we need to limit the amount of negative information that we're allowing into our space. Do not create anything that's going to give you additional anxiety at this point. Anything that you know can do that, please walk away from it. You know, don't watch CNN. So my husband loves to watch CNN. He loves it. I don't watch it with him. I'm like, hey, you're watching CNN. I'll see you later. Because I'm not going to watch CNN. Why now? All they have on CNN constantly on the side is the number of dead people that have been dying every day. The number of people that have caught. No, I'm not going to do that for myself. I know that there's a pandemic. I don't need to read those numbers and monitor them every day. What is that doing for my mind?
Yeah.
You know, so I think it's just so important, you know, that we know ourselves and that we do that. So yeah, those are my 4 key things. Now for the strengths and weaknesses and all that, there was a bit of information at the top with just some tests that you can take. Also, next week Friday, I'm going to have an Insta Live. Tune in. We're going to be talking more about strengths.
What time?
And how to develop them. Next week Friday at 6 p.m. Lagos time.
Lagos time. Okay. So
yes.
you want to find out more about personality types, right?
Yes, and strengths and all that. Yes.
What date is?
We're going to be having an Insta Live next week Friday at 6 p.m.
What date is that? That's
that's a good question. Let me check.
I think that's 24th or something.
It's the 22nd.
22nd. Okay. Next Friday.
Hi, Fikayo. Oh, the 11-year-old girl is Fikayo.
Hi, Fikayo.
Can you please give her many, many kisses from me?
Okay. Thank you so much, Foluso. This has been really, really good. Really, really good. You've shared so many nuggets. Really, really good.
Thanks, Mama.
When I was thinking of something before we go, I think we need to spend a lot of time. In fact, especially now that we're indoors, well, most of us are indoors, even though I know that you guys have gone back to work in Lagos.
Yeah, some of us, yeah.
Some of you have gone back to work in Lagos. You know, I think that if we don't spend time to think. In fact, there was something I saw on Sister Abby's Instagram thing where she said, pause and pray. And I want us to take time out. You know, when we finish this, before you start doing other stuff, I want you to take time out to pause, pray, and have a conversation. Have a conversation with God about, you know, what's the next move? How do I move? Where do I move to? But we need to spend time to think. Thinking is something that a lot of us don't do. We get so just doing the next thing. And even, you know, even with this pandemic, you would think that, oh, people will have more time. But people are still busy. I hear people saying that.
Overstimulated. There's too much information. There are 1 million webinars, 100 Instagram live. I mean, there's so much going on. Yeah.
People are zoomed out.
Zoom. In fact, I saw a post the other day, death by webinar. And I was like, yep.
Sorry,
death by webinar. Death by webinar.
Death by webinar. Yes. Yeah.
I have a scripture I want to share before we close.
Yes,
so please.
Let's share that.
Can I share it? Okay.
One word. Yeah. Please reflect on this. Yeah. Foluso, what's the scripture?
Okay, so it's actually 2, but they're linked, right? And it goes very well with what you just said about us, you know, pausing, praying, and reflecting. Okay. So there's 2 scriptures here that I love. The first one is Ephesians 2 verse 10. I'm going to read from the Good News Bible. It says, God has made us what we are, and in our union with Christ Jesus, he has created us for a life of good deeds, works, which he has also prepared for us to do. Prepared.
So you're going to have to give us that scripture again. Ephesians
2:10.
2:10. Okay.
Yes. So God has made us what we are, and in our union with Christ Jesus, he has created us for a life of good deeds, works, which he has already prepared for us to do. To mean that he had prepared you even before you were here.
Yeah.
You've been pre-prepared, and God doesn't prepare randomly. He prepares in completion.
Yeah.
So everything that you need to do, every move that you need to make, he's already prepared you for. So you need to do what you know you just said, Mrs. A, which is pause, pray, and reflect. God, what are those things that you prepared me for?
Yeah.
You know, begin to show them to me even in this time. Then the second scripture that I absolutely love is, it's linked to that. 1 Corinthians 2 verse 9. It says, but as it is written, eye has not seen, nor ear heard, nor have entered into the heart of man the things which God has prepared for those who love him.
Oh, wow.
And you know, for me, it's this constant word, prepared. He's prepared us. He's prepared these things for those who love him. He's prepared you for this life of good works even before you were made. And all this is because you are a believer. So God prepares in completion. He prepares you and knows that he will gift you with everything that you need. So all your gifts, your talents, even those your weaknesses that you don't like, are part of the preparation.
Yeah.
The people that you're surrounded by. So you need to realize that nobody that you're surrounded by is just random. You know, it's all part of the preparation that God has made for you before you were even created. So my people, please pause, pray, and reflect.
Whoa, Felicia, thank you so much. God bless you. I'm going to say
Thanks, Mama.
I'm going. Mwah. You can watch it again. Next week, we're back with Abs Vika. She's going to be talking about parenting.
Ooh.
Parenting next week. God bless you all. Felicia.